Hi, this is a quick introduction for card number 2, or I should say card 2. Uh, the card number itself is number 10, and it's Fury Bushfires. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this quick intro, which is going to be free on YouTube and Patreon, is to just introduce the concept of its elemental card by card, but without getting into the nitty-gritty details of the message, the deeper message. I've already listed the card decks that I've used for these readings, this particular type of reading, and I'm excited about it because it touches a whole lot of different aspects of elements, the elements, and even, elemental meaning, an investigation of sorts. I don't see where my little Snoopy investigator is. Oh, here he is right here. So remember the saying, "It's elemental, dear Watson"? Well, we're investigating high crimes that are happening on our planet, and that has everything to do with the elements and the law. Okay, so I'm going to first read about the bushfires card. Okay, and I'm not going to get into the detail. I've already talked about that in the extended, so I hope that you are interested in joining Patreon to access my extended readings and other readings that I offer there. You'll see how Spirit's working through me to get important messages out about our planet and our health and well-being individually and collectively on our home planet, which is a water planet. Okay, bushfires, number 10, fury. Extreme emotions, once engaged, are hard to put back in the container. Anger is a healthy emotion, yet fury is less necessary. Warlike emotions should be tempered unless survival requires it. Emotional intelligence is required at this time. Word of power, mania, ancient Greek, fury, rage. Bushfires are a regular occurrence within some ecosystems in places such as Australia. Bushfires are often started naturally by lightning strikes, but unnaturally by arson or uncontrolled burning or backburning. Bushfires have a high heat output and are greatly affected by wind, fuel load, ambient temperature, humidity, and slope. The First Nations people in Australia used fire to successfully control and to manage the fertility and the appearance of the environment for much of the 60,000 years prior to European settlement. Particular care was taken over time to create a patchwork series of burns, allowing animals to escape and to have food sources, as well as creating cold burns that did not reach the crown of trees. While fires have always been a part of some ecosystems, in fact integral to them because of the fire-triggered germination, we are now entering a time when fires burn so hot and so furiously due to climate change factors, quote unquote, that the destruction is catastrophic. Sadly, uncontrolled bushfires are becoming the norm in this time of quote unquote climate change in many countries, which is actually anthropogenic or man-made. These fires are furious, destroying everything in the way: habitat, native wildlife, human life, and property. Some areas have been so intensively burned, there is a chance they will never recover nor easily regenerate. The last decade has seen huge forests and bushfires burn, with a never-before-seen intensity that have destroyed huge areas of biome. And I was saying in the extended, the biome card is coming out just after the Ocean's Bravery card and the Magic Alchemy card. Okay, so this is what the biome is like. Bushfires of the Australian summer of 2019-2020 burned over 12 million hectares and killed around 1 billion animals, with half of all Australians affected. These intense bushfires have a huge economic cost, not to mention an emotional and spiritual one. Fury is a difficult emotion both to feel and to have directed at you. Fury feels extreme and uncontrollable. It is important to explore and work through such emotions and be able to understand what they are and why and what they mean, and also, in my field, why they are occurring so unnaturally. Unpicking why we feel such intensity helps us to balance the fury. The element associated with the bushfires card is obviously the element of fire. And you can watch the reading for card number 1 or card 1, which is also indicative of the element of fire. Then I'm going to read the Moonology deck card that came out when I shuffled in the introduction for this particular reading. Adjustments are required, third quarter moon. So you can look up the next third quarter moon and see if you can see these adjustments manifesting in your neck of the woods or elsewhere, because there is some magic at play here, okay? There's also a lot of hard work by light workers and educated people of many kinds trying to turn this Titanic ship around. Think of yourself as a vessel that has been filled more and more over the past few weeks. Some of what has come your way may not or may have been wonderful, but there is also a lot of negativity and you need to let go of this. Whatever situation you're asking about now, be honest about it and whether there are toxic emotions involved that you need to release into the ethers. This card also comes up with a promise that all is not lost! Exclamation point. However, there are changes or adjustments required before you will get to where you want to be. And I was mentioning my website, Science, Spirituality, Universe, City.com, and you can go into archives and peruse on the right hand olive column, many of them, including the one about taking steps that you must take so that you can move forward. Okay, and I think that was one of my mid-month messages. I think it was a June mid-month message for 2020. So there may be a crisis now which will remind you what you want and what is time to let go of. So do pay attention to this crisis and why it's coming up at the third quarter moon. I am re-evaluating this situation. So think about this as you attune to the third quarter moon. Additional meanings for this card. Your life may be out of balance, and this may be causing your issue or issues. So it may be time to hatch a whole new plan. The other additional meanings, something new and exciting is around the corner, and we have a lot of new moon energy coming at the bottom of the deck for this particular oracle deck. Multiple new moon energies, including a new moon eclipse card right at the bottom of the deck. Expect powerful change. So something is likely new and exciting around the corner, but you have to purge the old, the negativity, while you reach to plant seeds to create the new and sustain the new. Trust may be required to move this situation or issue or situation that you're reevaluating forwards, okay? You don't want to go backwards. The teaching. At the time of the third quarter moon, we know where we have been, but where are we going? The moon is now a half full moon and slipping away from us as she catches less and less light, moving towards her full disappearance at the new moon. And as I just said, we're coming into new moon energy and new moon eclipse energy. And so first is the new moon in Scorpio. But as I said in the extended part, you know, we have this new moon eclipse energy coming up. And then behind these, which you'll see in the extended, there is new moon energy in relation to Capricorn as well. So it's a time of falling away and a time to reevaluate. No matter when you draw this card, which is being drawn now, the teaching is to release and to trust. And you will see that this is in fact coming through other cards from other decks in the extended. So I hope you will be interested in joining me for the extended that's on Patreon. And it's important to know that seeds of grace have been planted and are continuing to be planted so that we can sustain this new earth that we're all moving into, you know, for those who have done the work. And that's another new moon card coming through in relation to Capricorn, and also working through fears in relation to this new moon in Scorpio, where we will be creating the change. Okay, that's part of the magic of being on this planet at this time and doing the right work to move forward rather than recreating past problems over and over again that lead to this kind of rage and fury internally for not evolving and taking out the anger and rage that people have inside and can't process in their minds because they've got mania, essentially. And that is what this card correlates to, is mania. These cards are ones that were on my desk for a while, and they just kind of like decided to plop down as I was getting ready to prepare this first It's Elemental reading. So the first one is strongly resonant, healing fear. Okay, my feelings are part of my intuitive guidance system. They are my great strengths that help me make the best choices in my life. You don't need to be a narcissist, but what we're teaching and what the higher power is encouraging is love of self, but not malignant self-love. It's, you know, healthy self-love, especially for those who have been victimized by narcissists and sociopaths among us, okay, that are doing these kinds of things. Psychopaths and sociopaths that are not in tune with the earth because they're not balanced with earth or the earth mother Gaia, and they want to just burn down the place. The song by the Moody Blues, The Question of Balance, read that or listen to that one. It's very, very relevant, as is Donkey Jaw by the American band America from the 1970s also. I think the Moody Blues, they're British, and the band America is from the United States. So, if you feel like this, I need people to help me since I often feel emotionally weak and vulnerable. That's how people get preyed on, okay? Because it's predator-prey mentality that these sociopaths are vibing, and that's the negative vibes that are fueling this type of behavior to dominate over others because they're out of control. And the out of control people have this great, quote unquote, propensity to think they're great by controlling others and slaughtering, people and animals and decimating our planet and our atmosphere and our waterways, polluting our waterways, or even controlling water so that it becomes an emergency also. So it's black and white to many of us what has happened and continues to happen, especially since 9/11. Just kind of the tipping point into the 21st century for more of what has happened in the past, that it's not essential to act this way, nor is it actually really progressive thinking. It's regressive. So there's a great need to balance this conditioning and these conditions precedent before they become entrained as if gospel and the only way to live on the earth. This balance card for the zebra says, by merging varying points of view, you can generate an extraordinary new idea, compromise with others, and collaborate to discover a better solution. Because these types of ways of quote unquote managing the environment are so extreme, I would never ever sign off on them in an environmental impact review. Okay? And that's the gist of this is they're trying to make it appear as if this is management of resources, but it's not. It's insanity. Okay? It's straight up insanity. And it's the insanity and the shadow engineering that I was witnessing as an environmental scientist, increasingly so during the same period of time that I was dealing with that 9/11 evil in my neck of the woods, so on the home front. So anyhow, I'm going to close out. This is just a short intro, little teaser. If you're interested in the extended for card number 2, Bushfires, and card number 1, you can find them on Patreon, and I'll leave the link below. It's Patreon/Blue Crystal, www.patreon.com/ I believe it is Blue, BLUECHRISTYL. Namaste.